each one. Birth certificate. Submit a copy of your foreign birth certificate or other record of your birth that meets the provisions of secondary evidence found in Title 8 Code of Federal Regulations. And you know, on the website there is a part on the law, so if you want to go and check that out, you can check that out. But basically the birth certificates, you know, we've talked about that on the procedures video and what the birth certificate is supposed to be like. And if you don't have a birth certificate, yes, you can get a you can use other documents, and we've gone through that stuff. Copy of passport page with non-immigrant visa. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Photos. Okay, there's the passport photos with this and the, okay. Biometric service. If you're between ages 14 and 79, you get the biometrics done. That's a fancy way of saying fingerprinting. And here's interesting, yeah, after you've filed this application, USCIS will notify you in writing of the time and location where you must go to get fingerprinted. If necessary, USCIS may also take your photograph and signature. Failure to appear to be fingerprinted or for other biometric services may result in denial of your application. So this, what comes up here is making sure you give your change of address, making sure that they have the right address for you, and to follow up on your application and your biometric notice, because if you don't get one after a month or two, you know, you want to make sure you check in with them and see if they've sent it to you, make sure they sent it to the right address, and so that you get your biometrics done. Police clearances. If you're filing for adjustment of status a member of a special class described in an I-485 supplement form, please read the instructions on the supplement form to see if you need to obtain and submit police clearances in addition to the required fingerprints with your application. Okay, we'll do that. Medical examination, yes. When required, submit a medical exam report on the form you've obtained from USCIS, and that form is listed on the list of documents there. And let's go back, and while we're here, I want to just make sure that you look at this medical exam form. So let's see. The medical exam form. While I'm on here, I'm going to go back to Internet Explorer, and I'm going to hit the USCIS website again. USCIS home page, immigration forms, there we go, and I-693 report of medical examination and vaccination record. Here's the form. Now what happens is basically the let's click on this. Submit the completed Form 693 sealed in an envelope from the physician with your Form I-485 package to the Service Center District Office where filing your adjustment of status application. And what happens basically on this is that when you go to the civil surgeon, and you got to find a civil surgeon link right here, they are going to have copies of this form, and they're going to fill this form out for you. They're going to put it in an envelope, seal the envelope, and give it to you. You can use your zip code, and you can find the civil surgeon by the state. So I'm here in Tennessee. You can click on that, and here comes all the stuff. So I'm in Nashville, so here's our ones here in Nashville, and you can do that. So that is the deal with the medical form. And yes, they have the form here, and you can download it, but you don't really need to, because they are going to the doctor's actually going to take care of that for you. Individual applying for adjustment of status through USCIS Service Center. General, if you're filing your adjustment of status, include your medical exam report with the application. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Refugees, we're not refugees, we don't need to worry about that. Individuals applying for adjustment of status to a local USCIS office. We're not going to be doing it through a local USCIS office. We're applying through the Chicago Lockbox, through the Service Center. Fiancés, okay, and persons not required to have a medical exam. Medical report is not required if you're applying for creation of a record of admission as lawful permanent resident under Section 249. Okay, that's not us, so forget about that. Next thing you need, Form G325A, Biographic Information Sheet. We have our tutorial on that, so you've got that covered. Another, Affidavit of Support, Employment Letter. Submit an Affidavit of Support, Form I-864. If your adjustment of status application is based on your entry as a fiancé, a relative visa petition, Form I-130, which is what we've got, filed by your relative. So we're doing the Affidavit of Support, and you know that we have a huge Affidavit of Support video tutorial. Employment letter. Yeah, they want to include an employment letter on there. And evidence of eligibility based on an immigrant petition. That's us. Attach a copy of the approval notice for an immigrant petition that makes a visa number immediately available to you, or submit a complete relative special immigrant juvenile or special immigrant military petition that, if approved, will make a visa number immediately available to you. That's what we're doing. We're submit a completed application with the filing fees on it and all that stuff together. Okay, and let's see what else. Derivative stuff, is it spouse or child? We're not worried about that. Where should you file Form I-485? Okay, yeah, the lockbox is for the spouse with a concurrently filed Form I-130. Yeah, and so we're that's what we're talking about. So here's the lockbox address, and we're also going to make, we're not going to follow this address. We're actually following the address on the previous page where it showed us, you know, where to, on the special instructions where to file. That's the most recent and most updated version of the address. So that's what we're using. And there's the underlying I-140, so we're not worrying about that. This is all address, address, address. What is the filing fee? Filing fee is $930 right there. Additional biometric fee of $80, unless you are, you know, under 14 or you don't have a biometric, and if you're under 14, it's a little bit cheaper there. You may submit one check or money order for both the application and biometric fees for a total of $1,010. Great. And then check or money order must be drawn on a bank or other financial institution. So you can use a personal check. That's fine. Make it payable to U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Okay, unless you live in Guam, Treasurer of Guam, or if it's Commissioner of Finance of the Virgin Islands. Great. And then about the filing fees, it just says if you file I-485, you don't need to pay filing fees for the 765 or the I-131, so that's really great. And if you choose to file a 765 or I-31 separately after the effective date, you must also submit a copy of the I-797C Notice of Action receipt as evidence of the filing of the I-485. So we're doing them all together, but basically if you weren't doing them all together, when you file the I-485, this application we're doing, they're going to kick back to you a, I shouldn't use the word kickback, they're going to send you a receipt. And the receipt is on the bottom left. You'll see form number I-797C. That's this form number right there. So that will be, says filing fee accepted, have a receipt number, and then if you put that on top of your application, or a copy of that on top of your application for the work authorization card and the travel document, then you do not need to attach a fee. Because when you go and look at those forms on the website, it does have a fee listed next to them, but you won't need to do that if you apply the receipt.